G-Roll Electronic Productions, baby.
Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matter to we the people. DEMOCREPUBLIX headlines. I'm a little pressed for time, but I'm gonna get a few headlines in. So let's see what's going on around the world. The Gateway Pundit over here on the right. What's really going on with the product shortages we never saw under the Trump administration? Let's check out this article here. All right. It's normally a little pop-up from Gateway Pundit. What's really going on with the product shortages we never saw under the Trump administration? Well, we knew this was going to happen when they started printing all this money and telling people to stay home. People are not going to want to go back to work, which causes said product shortages. But the article says, since the Biden-Obama administration took over, there have been a number of shortages in products. What's really going on? Only a few weeks ago, we were concerned about the rising cost of gas in the U.S., and you know, we covered that, of course. Lumber is now difficult to obtain. Home buyers across the nation are up against one of the tightest housing markets in modern history. It's so hot that even amid a pandemic, median home prices are up 16% over the past year. And that's true. My house is going up and up. Building more homes would be the most straightforward way to help buyers, but construction is constrained by scarcity of a formerly plentiful and cheap commodity. Lumber. Yeah, lumber was cheap until Biden took over. I tried to warn people. I noticed another I told you so, but I'm normally correct when it comes to these things. A drought in Brazil, coupled with the increase in demand for coffee as the world reopens after coronavirus pandemic, has led to higher coffee prices, according to a report from the Wall Street Journal. Cyber attacks are also on the rise, and according to Biden, Obama, they are here to stay. That's because they're doing nothing about it, and they're blaming Russia without any proof. I think it's China, and they're not doing anything to stop them from these cyber attacks on our infrastructure. Some people think there is more to the shortages than meets the eye. Are these shortages created to offset the perception that commodities are increasing in price due to inflation? I think it's inflation. You can't keep printing all of these dollars and expecting with fiat cash that nothing's gonna happen. Especially with the way they keep interest rates low.
We got to talk about that narrative playing out. Let me hit him with a spin move, because that shit was fun. I look like a nut out here. All right, so the narrative's playing out. We got to put this together. It all comes down to the supply chain. Remember, they can't have the people know that their currency system doesn't work. Endless printing of money doesn't work. So what are we going to blame it on? I figured it out. It's the supply chain. That's what all these outages, these floods, these hacks. Now you got Canadian Union on the border striking. That's going to affect commerce. They're going to blame the supply chain and say it's broken. We're going to see prices rise. We're going to see goods out of stock. I'm not saying panic, but just keep an eye out. It's the supply chain. They've been talking about it for months. Things are going to come to a halt. Look at the boats in the water. There's so many ships off the coast. It's the supply chain. We got to talk.
Everything he said is correct. Everything this guy said is correct. This from Mr. Intuitive. I appreciate that clip. That's definitely true. What a mess the Biden-Obama administration is in. And to think the Senate just passed another bill for $1 trillion more in debt. Unbelievable. That's true. Where's all this money come from? I can't pronounce that. Slimmy22 said, look at the fucking boats. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, and they're still printing money. That's the scary thing. It's just inflation is just starting to really show, and it's gonna get a lot worse because they're not stopping this stupid money policy that they got going on. It's crazy. I don't understand. It's the definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. They're still printing money and wondering why inflation's going up. All right, let's see. Let's go over a few more articles. Like I said, I don't really have much time today, but I wanted to get a little bit of news in. Still at the Gateway Pundit, massive crowd protest vaccine passports and mandatory vaccines all over France. Report Biden staffers referring to Biden as the nightmare on Elm Street. Wow. GOP senator says he's grateful for Ashley Babbitt's killer. Wow, this is horrible. Insists criminal Babbitt was warned before she was shot dead in cold blood. So all she did was peep her head through that thing. That's crazy. Who I don't even know who Senator Kramer is, but that's a horrible statement. The Gateway Pundit has made a bank on the secretary and themselves. Corrupt Gabe Sterling attacked Gateway Pundit in bizarre rant on combating disinformation. No, Gateway Pundit is actually one of the few news outlets that's actually doing real journalism, and he's upset about that. That's what's going on there. New poll: Wyoming voters turn against Liz Cheney. Yeah, she's not gonna win re-election. She's gonna get primaried out. I mean, she's basically a Democrat, basically. Let's see. Andrew Cuomo begs businesses to return to New York City after destroying it with lockdowns. And I guarantee they're going to do another lockdown. Who wants to come to New York and pay, first of all, them high-ass taxes, over-regulation, and who want to live in that city when you know they're going to be on lockdown again? And the crime is going up. New York is just going to hell in a handbasket. And then you're going to ask businesses to come there. No, they're going to go to Florida. They're going to go to Texas, where businesses can thrive, and they don't have to worry about being put on lockdown again. But the article says, tyrannical lockdowns have destroyed New York. Businesses have fled New York in thousands. Now, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is begging them to come back. This is crazy. Fox News reported New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is calling for companies to end remote work and bring staff back to the office by Labor Day in order to support local businesses, or New York City will suffer. In a virtual meeting with the Association for Better New York, Cuomo said that while remote work, like remote schooling, was okay in the short term, people need to return to being in person. Quote, remember, we have to get people back, and we have to get people back in volume. If you were to see a 15% decline in people coming back to New York City, that would have a devastating impact on the commercial market, Cuomo said. Well, you should have thought about that before you kept the city on lockdown for as long as you did. When most places was opening up, you stayed locked down. You should have thought about that then. And then people found out, well, we can work remotely. Why do we have to keep our businesses in New York if we can work remotely? So a lot of them places left New York for greener pastures and lower taxes, which is common sense. How about you start changing some of your policies and fix crime out there? Maybe businesses will start coming back. With the article, he goes on to say, quote, we need people coming back, he reiterated later on. Say to your workforce by Labor Day, everyone is back in the office. Quote, we need that volume to support the restaurants and the shops, the services, Cuomo continued. It's not just about your business. It's about all the spin-off affect economy activity. It's about all the spin-off effect economic activity that your workers bring to the surrounding community. That's what people were saying during your whole lockdown. Back in June, it was announced that more than 100 key Goldman Sachs bankers may move to Florida. That's what I'm saying. Florida and Texas is where businesses is going. The New York Post, working from home is no longer an option at Goldman Sachs, but working from Florida might be another story. More than 100 key Goldman Sachs employees are reportedly poised to migrate from the firm's New York headquarters to a new office in Palm Beach, Florida. The snub to the Big Apple, which comes as Goldman bankers reported back to the office on Monday after more than a year of working remotely, would mark a shift in Goldman's more than 150-year-old New York-centric strategy at the hands of the chief executive, David Solomon. The Florida expansion is in the early stages, and a few employees have made firm commitments, according to a report for Business Insider paywall. Among those who have expressed interest in moving are partners in the firm whose salaries start at $950,000, not including bonuses and other perks. Yeah, so businesses have fled New York. Cuomo trying to call them back, and I don't think they're coming back. Especially, I mean, who wants to pay those New York high-ass taxes? Who wants to be regulated to death? Who wants to be in that high-ass crime? No one. It's common sense. Let's see if Gateway Pundit have anything else. GOP says he's. Oh no, I read that. The Gateway Pundit went over that. New poll, Wyoming. Yeah, we went over that. They hate Cheney. Let's check out Just the News here in the middle. Cybersecurity. Democratic election officials claim that audited machines must be retired. Oh, now they want to get rid of the machines, of course. Billionaire brawl. Federal government denies Bezos' claim of inappropriate space contract to Musk. Russians hack emails of major federal prosecutor offices, DOJ says. I don't know how much we can trust that. Michigan's new diversity and inclusive director received $130,000 salary. Louisiana AG threatens legal action against college over vaccine mandate. Good. You shouldn't mandate people to take a jab that's not even approved by the FDA. Biden DOJ sues Texas over executive order banning transportation of sick illegal aliens. Pelosi removes mask in violation of Capitol police guidance that she created, I would add. And of course, we know the hypocrisy of government. It's always do as I say, not as I do. They don't have to follow their own rules. Remember, Nancy Pelosi is the same one that made the statement that it's not insider trading or it's not illegal when we do it, is basically what she said. Zero Hedge. How school becomes religion. That's true. They're basically teaching Marxism in schools, and the kids are believing in this crap. They believe that socialism is good. They believe that Marxism is good, and this is all because of the education system. That's why they're pushing the CRT. It's another form of Marxism. Biden handlers quietly notify president he has something on his chin, which he promptly eats. It's disgusting. I saw that video yesterday. I'm not even gonna watch that again. Germany blames Iran for stalling nuclear talks, moving further and further away. Quote, we spent like never before. U.S. saw a record drop in poverty last year as 7 million jobs disappeared. Yeah, government just printing money and handing it out to people, and people aren't wanting to go back to work. Twitter suspends science writer after he posts results of Pfizer clinical tests. What? See, they are anti-science. How does Twitter know better than these scientists? And then when the scientists post something that's different from the narrative, they censor you. They ban you. They make you delete the post. These people are horrible technocrats that don't want information out that's not the same as their narrative. So let's check this out. Twitter suspends science writer after he posts results of Pfizer clinical test. I mean, this is a clinical test. It says update, whether due to pressure from the backlash or simply realizing their action was ridiculous, Twitter has reinstated Alex Berenson, and even more fascinating, has removed the warning label from his tweet. Well, good. It must have been enough of backlash. I mean, these people are sick. These people are sick. Like, they know better than the scientists. Like, they can really interpret or understand the data. These people are sick. And here's the post here. Let's see. The thread does not reduce the overall risk of death. 15 patients who received the vaccine died. 14 who received placebo died. The trial blind is broken now. This is all data we will ever have. So let's go into this article and see what's going on with this. Just yesterday, we discussed the censoring of a commentator by Twitter for merely expressing an opinion over the need for a pause on any federal mandates on COVID-19 as new research is studied. Now, a former New York Times science reporter, Alex Berenson, has been suspended for simply quoting the results from a clinical trial by Pfizer and raising questions over any vaccine mandate. And again, the article says that he got reinstated. But in the meantime, the White House accused both the Washington Post and the New York Times of irresponsible reporting on COVID. But surprisingly, Twitter has not suspended those accounts. Of course not. It is the license of the censor. Twitter is unwilling to let people read or discuss viewpoints that it disagrees with as a corporation. Many on the left, however, have embraced the concept of corporate speech and censorship. It's crazy that in the land of the free, there is so much censorship going on, and people from the left don't mind it. I don't understand. It turns out that the problem with censorship for many was the failure to censor views they oppose. With the right censors at work, the free speech concerns have been set aside. And, you know, we talk about that all the time. Here's a meme right here. It's pretty funny. I have little ability to judge the science on such questions. However, I do. I can study. I have a background, of course, in advanced statistics, so I can read these studies and interpret them. However, I welcome the debate. Yet, rather than answer such critics and refute their arguments, many people focus on silencing anyone with dissenting viewpoints, like Berenson. Berenson has been effectively confined to Substack by big tech due to his discussing dissenting views on science surrounding COVID-19. His latest offense against big tech came when he posted the results published by Pfizer, its own clinical data. That's the main thing right there. It's Pfizer's own data. You can't even report their own data. He claimed that the research showed little difference in morality between those in the trial with a vaccine and those given a placebo. I'm going to have to save this, so I want to look at the actual study myself. But he tweeted, we understand that during the times of crisis and instability, it's difficult to know what to do to keep yourself and your loved ones safe. Under this policy, we require the removal of content that may pose a risk to people's health, including content that goes directly against guidance from authority sources, global and local. But it wasn't an authority source. It's Pfizer. This is crazy. And this is what he tweeted. The pivotal clinical trial for the Pfizer COVID vaccine shows it does nothing to reduce overall risk of death. 0. 15 patients who received the vaccine died. 14 who received placebo died. The end. The trial blind is broken now. This is all the data we will ever have. I mean, it's crazy. In the meantime, the White House sent out an all caps commendation for completely irresponsible reporting on the infliction of the vaccinated people, according to another study. Ben Wanaka, Deputy Director of Strategic Communications and Engagement for the White House, blasted the Washington Post over its headline about the study of a COVID outbreak in Provincetown, Massachusetts on July 4th. The Post tweet read, vaccinated people made up 3/4 of those infected in the massive Massachusetts COVID-19 outbreak. Pivotal CDC studies finds Wakanda responded completely irresponsible. 3 days ago, the CDC made clear that the vaccinated individuals represent a very small amount of transmission occurring around the country. Virtually all hospitalizations and deaths continue among the unvaccinated. Unreal to not put that in context. It's not. I mean, you can't even report the truth. And they try to spin it and make it like you're lying for reporting the truth. And, we need to put it in context. People died that took the vaccine from COVID. So I mean, the truth is the truth. There's no way you can spin around. You can't spin that. There's no way you can spin that. These people are horrible. Wakana addressed the same issue with a New York Times tweet stating, "Breaking news: the Delta variant is as contagious as chickenpox and may be spread by vaccinated people as easily." But that's the truth. As easily as the unvaccinated. I mean, that is true. We did a report on that also. Now, all three posters, Brennan, the Post, and the Times, were citing studies and accused on not putting them into context. However, only Berenson was suspended. Of course not, because he's not on the left. He's a real reporter. Obviously, none of these posters should be suspended, and Twitter should not be enforcing one of the largest censorship programs in history. However, the silence of free speech supports academics and journalists to this hypocrisy of deafening. The rise of corporate censors, and combined with the heavily pro-Biden media to create the fear of de facto state media that controls information due to a shared ideology rather than state coercion. The concerns has been magnified by demands from Democratic leaders for increased censorship, including censoring political speech, and now word that the Biden administration has routinely been flagging materials to be censored by Facebook, and we reported on that too. They actually flag stuff, and Facebook is allowing individual states too. Of course, they have to have a D next to their name. They have to be leftists. They have to be Democrats. But they actually delete people tweets that government don't like. This is why I have described myself as an internet originalist. This was the author says. The alternative is internet originalism, no censorship. If social media companies return to their original roles, there will be no slippery slope of political bias or opportunism. They would assume the same status as telephone companies. We do not need companies to protect us from harmful or misleading thoughts. The solution to bad speech is more speech, not approved speech. That is totally true. I don't think it's ever going to happen. Our government enjoy the power, and the Republicans, they're too much of wusses to do anything about it. So we got Democrats that's loving the censorship, and we got Republicans that's allowing the censorship because they're, like I said, they're too much of a wuss to do anything about it. If Pelosi demanded the Verizon or Sprint interrupt calls to stop people saying false or misleading things, the public would be outraged. I don't think so, because the White House already announced that they're going to be censoring people text messages. They're already doing it. They're not doing calls, they're doing text messages. So if you text someone anything that's not the official narrative of COVID, they will censor it. They will block that text message. They already admitted to that. So it's already happening, and the public is not up in arms. They're not enraged about your censorship of your own text messages. So I don't think this statement is true here. I don't think people would be in outrage. Call me a cynic, but I don't see it happening. Twitter serves the same communicative function between consenting parties. It simply allows thousands of people to participate in such digital exchanges. Those people do not sign up to exchange thoughts only to have Dorsey or some other internet overlord monitor their conversations and protect them from errant or harmful thoughts. I agree. Great article. Just that one point right there about people being outraged, I don't agree with, because like I said, I'm not seeing people outraged yet, and they're already getting censored from their text messages. So let's see what else we got going on here. Germany blames Iran for stalling nuclear talks. We spent like never before. U.S. saw a record drop in poverty last year. We went over that. U.S. Navy says several drone attack Israeli-linked tanker. Israeli urge UN action against Iran. Party on, golf market rally continues as earnings beat estimates. Yeah, stocks is finally going back up again. My stocks is doing pretty decent. Hopefully I can get back to where I was a couple months ago. Let's see, the Daily Caller. Will Cuomo be held accountable for allegedly sending grandmas to die in nursing homes? No, the media was hot for about a week, and then maybe a week or two, and then after that, you don't hear anything else about the 15,000 grandparents that died in nursing homes. They're saying nothing about it. That's just a statistic. So 15,000 people dying because of COVID because of his actions. They're done talking about it. All right, let's see here. Daily Caller, Huber, thick as a brick, aka improvised weapons. Fact check: does the video show a landslide in Pakistan? Let's see. Team USA swimmer Caleb Dressel has 3 gold medals from Tokyo, but his family keeps stealing the show. Tim Tebow makes awesome touchdown catch in practice on a throw from Trevor Lawrence. Season 2 of Outer Banks is off to a hot start. I don't watch that show. All right, let's see. The Hill. Meadows says Trump world looking to move forward in real way. Trump defends his comments about election after release of DOJ notes. Delta variant raises fears of worsening mutations. Say goodbye to persuasion. Vaccine mandates may be coming, but will they be legal? And no, it's not legal. Bill Maher marks woke attitude at Olympics. Progressives camp outside of Capitol to protest evictions. Biden bipartisan deal faces Senate gauntlet. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Let's check out the Daily Wire here. Chicago mayor delays new COVID-19 restrictions as Lollapalooza begins. So once Lollapalooza is over with, they gonna hit you with restrictions. I guess COVID don't show up at Lollapalooza. I mean, these people, man, they're so freaking typical. Erickson, the Olympics monopoly. Let's see. LA public schools to require weekly COVID tests regardless of vaccination status. People wondered why DC mayor delayed new mask mandate until Saturday. Now we know why. New York Yankees make their move, acquire lefty bats at trade deadline. The good and the bad, Katie Ledecky exits Tokyo on high note. Johnny Depp wins motion to force ACLU to review whether Amber Heard paid the million she promised after divorce. Let's see what else we got going on here. Let's check out the Washington Examiner. Congress must fix UNRWA's Hamas problem. Biden says in all probability there will be new COVID restrictions. So I wish first they said there's not going to be, then they say there is going to be, then they say they're not going to be. Just we know it's coming. We know the restrictions are coming. Most people isn't going to comply. We're over it. And speaking of not complying, check out I will not comply t-shirts. This link is in the description. Click on the link under merchandise and purchase your I will not comply t-shirts. And also I do exclusive videos on Patreon. Check out my Patreon /DEMOCREPUBLIX and check out some of the exclusive stuff. I'm probably gonna be posting some more exclusive stuff tonight. Some stuff that I can't be posting on other stuff. So check it out. Let's see. Where was I? Biden administration sanctioned more Cuban officials ahead of White House meeting with activists. House fails to rush through bill extending eviction ban after Biden request. Republicans argue Fauci emails show NIH funded gain of function research at Wuhan lab. I mean, we pretty much know that. We reported that in ad nauseum. So if you go to the coronavirus playlist, it should be a bunch of videos about gain of function in that. Secret Service arrests man for jumping fence line near White House. Hunter Biden says F him to critics at his art sales. Former Michigan Senator Carl Levin dies at 87. GOP wants answers from scientists about dramatic change on COVID origins. Bipartisan plan to raise revenue from cryptocurrencies face implementation obstacles. Justice Department escalates warning to state over GOP voting laws and election audits. Bipartisan Senate group Look to cryptocurrency tax revenue to pay for infrastructure bill. Let's see what else we got going on here. Let's check out PJ Media here. Coming soon, a no-buy list for conservatives and other hate groups. The Alamo deserves so much better than San Antonio's treatment of it. Hunter Biden has a spicy message. We went over that. CDC Director Walensky walks back comments on vaccine mandate. Can we believe her? See, I think they're going to be coming with the mandate. The mandate is coming. Even though the Pfizer's own studies show that it basically no difference between taking a vaccine and people dying and not taking a vaccine and people dying. It's absolutely the same with the placebo group. 15 and 14. That means there's no statistical difference. That means that's science, folks. That is science. That is evidence. So if YouTube want to ban me from saying that, it is what it is. That is science. That's the truth. The Pfizer owned study showed that 15 people that was vaccinated died from COVID, and 14 people from the placebo died from COVID. No statistical difference. All right, let's see. Biden appointed a man to Religious Freedom Commission for one reason. He publicly criticized Trump. Injured cop saves man from exploding truck. The rest of the story is like something from a TV show. Let's see. Breitbart. FNC's Carlson slammed CDC for unapologetically changing COVID-19 protocols. UK police pledged to promote pronoun awareness and cringe video for yet another Pride weekend. Actor Cuba Gooding Jr. may have to pay rape accuser millions in damages. Wow. Cancel mob calls for Saturday Night Live star Michael Shea firing over his Simone Biles jokes. He said, I got hacked. I don't think he didn't get hacked. I saw that yesterday. He basically made joke. You can't joke about stuff. You can't joke about stuff. It's crazy. Exclusive. Mark Morgan, Democrat, blatant border wall hypocrisy jeopardizing our national security. Bring on the kids. European city targets use for jabs. Vegans may be exempt from compulsory vaccine, law firm claims. So if you a vegan, you don't have to take it. I'll just say I'm a vegan then. Let's check out this article. So I don't know why they pushing it so much. Especially if you already been if you already had the disease, why do you have to get the jab? Let's see. Vegans may be exempt from compulsory vaccines, law firm claims. Ethical vegans may be exempt from being forced by their employers to be vaccinated because their lifestyle beliefs are protected by law, a legal firm claim. So I'll just say I'm vegan. Last year, a judge presiding over an employment tribunal ruled that ethical veganism, where a vegan avoids all animal products that use animals in testing or services associated with animal exploitation, was a philosophical belief, making it protected characteristic like race, religion, or sexuality, with its adherence covered under the Equality Act of 2010. Referencing the case, a spokesman from a law firm, Lewis Salkin, said that according to the Telegraph, some ethical vegans may disagree with vaccinations on the basis that they will be inevitably have been tested on animals. Ethical veganism has previously been found by an employment tribunal to amount to the belief capable of being protected. I'm gonna have to save this article. This is great because you can not. So if they make it mandatory, they make the jab mandatory. Just become a vegan. That's pretty funny. The remarks come weeks after the government passed legislation to force all care home staff to be vaccinated against the Chinese coronavirus. Silky Carlo, the director of the Privacy and Civil Liberties pressure group, Big Brother Watch, warned that the passing of the law could embolden employers to make similar demands, leaving millions of employers to face a choice between a jab or their job. Some employers have been considering introducing mandatory vaccines for several months, including the anti-Brexit Charlie Mullen and Pramilico Plumbers, who vowed in January to impose a no vaccine, no job rule. Mr. Mullins is not alone, however. According to a recent poll by the British Chambers of Commerce, a large business employee more than 50, around the 1/3. So this is Great Britain. So I wonder if that same applies to the United States. So this is Great Britain. Total difference. I'm gonna have to look into that. All right. Let's see what else is going on. That was Breitbart. Exclusive, Mark Morgan, Democrats' blatant border wall hypocrisy jeopardizing our national security. All right. Let's see. Let's check out WorldNet Daily. Homeschooling soars as parents find kids perform well at home. I've heard both. I heard some kids do well and some kids just do terrible at home. It depends on the kid, I believe. Journalist, someone needs to create porn for children. Yeah, that was disgusting. She walked that tweet back and tried to justify it and all that other stuff. It's just disgusting. I can't believe she said that. I'm not even going to get into that. We know what they're trying to push. I'm just going to leave it at that. Lawsuit filed by women who say foster care officials put her in an abusive home. You hear about that all the time with foster care. It's sad. Toys for tots prepared for supply shortage this holiday season. Virginia recognized first non-binary Eagle Scout in state. Nevada man faces charges after leaving baby in car in 100-degree heat to gamble. That's horrible. But you hear about this sometimes. You hear about, I'm not saying this is the case or not. I really don't know this specific case. But you hear about sometimes parents have their kids with them and they're not used to having their kids with them, and they'll go to work and drive to work like they normally do. They forget that their kid is in the back seat. You hear about that a lot because they're so used to not having a kid in their vehicle. So you hear about that a lot. I'm not saying that that's the case with this man. It's a horrible thing to hear about, but you do hear about that sometimes. Waitress receives heartbreaking thank you note from recently widowed customer. Let's see, the Free Beacon. The Taliban kidnapped a Navy vet in Afghanistan. The Biden administration risks leaving him behind. Analysis, liberal animosity toward minorities, teachers, and poor people is out of control. Yeah, they feign like they care about people, but they really don't. It's so fake. Liberal animosity towards minorities, teachers, and poor people is out of control. I keep telling people they are the real racists. Obnoxious liberals, the ones who fill the yawning void in their lives by posting online and expressing an unhealthy degree of animosity towards minorities, teachers, poor people, and other marginalized communities. Washington Free Beacon analysis has determined. As you might expect, Lincoln Project operatives are some of the worst offenders. Tom Nichols, one of the Super PAC's former advisors, griped last week that the United States was threatened by millions of spoiled, stupid adult children who are reluctant to receive the COVID-19 jab. His much wealthier former colleague, Rick Wilson, agreed, "We're so effed." The extremely online duo's outbursts were presumably in response to a successful black athlete publicly expressing their vaccine hesitancy. Yes, you cannot, if you are black, if you are a black conservative, if you are a black Republican, if you are gay, if you are a gay conservative, if you are a gay Republican, if you are any of those minorities and you are not following the left party line, they will attack you. It's simple as that. They are the real racists. Unless you think like them, they are the real racists. They are the real these people are horrible. So I do agree with that. NFL wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, for example, suggested a day earlier that he didn't want to partake in the COVID-19 vaccine. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott Prescott was also ruthlessly mocked for refusing to divulge his vaccine status, just as NBA star LeBron James repeatedly insisted his decision to get the vaccine or not was a private thing. Nichols went on to describe Hopkins using racially charged language as some jamoke in a red hat. What is a jamoke? Who has the mentality of a rashy toddler. Red just happened to be the primary color of Hopkins' NFL team. Yeah, you idiot. The Arizona Cardinals. He feels almost no emotion and zero empathy for the successful black man and other marginalized individuals whom he finds annoying. Polling shows that vaccine hesitancy is most prominent among racial minorities, individuals without a college degree, and those who earn less than $50,000 a year. Additionally, teachers' unions have been some of the most outspoken opponents to President Joe Biden's effort to mandate vaccines for government employees. As a result, these marginalized communities have been singled out for derision by overeducated white liberals who earn many times the median household income. Many of the hateful attacks, including some in the pages of the New York Times, have used racially explosive rhetoric commonly associated with white supremacy movement. Yes, because they are the real white supremacists. In one letter to the editor published in the Times, Naomi Stevens of Cambridge, Massachusetts, praised the NFL policy of penalizing players for refusing to get vaccinated as brilliant because it promotes personal responsibility among the league's mostly black athletes, a common racist trope and white supremacist dog whistle. Accepting responsibility for one's choice is surely a principle that all people can agree on, Stephen wrote controversially. Daniel Fink of Beverly Hills, California, was even less subtle in his attack on black athletes and other individuals who refuse to get vaccinated. Quote, if you don't like being protected by your government, go to countries where people aren't getting vaccinated because they don't have vaccines to administer, he wrote to the Times, which published his letter despite its explicit call to violence against marginalized community. Washington Post columnist Max Boot, who is bald, recently argued, I don't know what that has to do with anything, recently argued it was time for the federal government to stop making reasonable appeals to granola liberals who believe in alternative medicines and African Americans who distrust the healthcare system. What an idiot! We should be distrustful of the healthcare system. The healthcare system is screwing black people since I think it was Rockefeller that came up with our current health system, and concluded with a curious word choice that will only be interpreted as an appeal to white supremacists. Quote, we should not grant an unreasonable minority, emphasis added, unreasonable minority, the power to endanger public health, he wrote, with racism in his heart. Of course, so if you take it, why do you care if I took it or not? Few libs have been more aggressively and antagonistic in their disdain for marginalized communities than Nichols, the former Lincoln Project advisor. Quote, it's astonishing to think we're facing another round of pandemic measures because of people who are willing to get sick and risk death because they think it'll piss off someone like me for a few months, he tweeted in a recent display of pathological narcissism. It's out of control. But yeah, I think that's all the articles we're going to go over today. Let me know what you think. Also, if you like to donate to DEMOCREPUBLIX, you can go to DEMOCREPUBLIX.com and click that donate button. Cool beans, hey man, I see you just coming on. What's going on? I'm just getting ready to close out. All right, catch you later, my brother. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe. And get the I Will Not Comply t-shirts. That link is in the description. I Will Not Comply t-shirts. And let me know what you think. Until next time.